Tuesday lives. I'm excited to be back. I like doing my Tuesday ones, and I've been a little bit off schedule lately with being in Florida and everything else that's been going on. So, yeah, I'm here to jam. It's a different time. Depends on if you guys are in the hustle of like going to pick up kids. I know I'm about to go pick up my two kids from school before their after school program ends. But I wanted to come on here and jam on an AMA, see what's going on. Say hey if you're here. I have one question to begin with, but I'm going to start off with a story. I wanted to start off with this story about energy. Hey Tracy, how's it going? So my story about energy is I had experienced a really high energy last week. I had gone to a conference and a gathering and had been around so many people that I don't get a chance to be extroverted anymore, not in the manner of which I like. And I walked away with so much energy. And when I came back to my computer and resumed my life of Zooming, I noticed immediately that my energy went back down again. So I just want to say, it's still COVID. We are humans. And if you haven't had a chance to connect with people, at least go for a walk outside. If you can't go to gatherings, if you got somebody in your family who's sick and you're watching out for, totally understand that. But the energy of being around other human beings made me so excited that I had to have 2 crash days when I got back home from that. So let me know if you're here. Participation is welcome. I'd love to see who's here, who wants to learn. So this is an open all. Ask me anything. So obviously my jam is business and branding, but it's also mindset. I'm also a rock star at sales. I have a 51% close rate. I do calculate it. I love my spreadsheets. So I'm going to be getting into those type of trainings in time, but feel free to ask me whatever you're thinking. My expertise lies in branding and business. So drop me what your questions are and let me know that you're here, and let's make this lively. Let's get this exciting. Hey Todd, how's it going? How am I supposed to work now? Is that a real question? I don't know about that. Sales help. Todd, give me some specifics. Help me out with what specifics are. So sales is an art and a science, and that's why it drives people insane when you want a methodology to how to sell something and you follow a script and then the conversions don't really show up the way that you wanted it to. So let me know what you mean. Give me some more context there. So happy to be here. I've been learning so much. If there's not any questions, I'm just going to kind of go on my rant of things I've learned, but I've had so much growth. Hey, Jenny, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this next month. We have 2 months left in 2020, and then hopefully we're on to a new year of new things. But growth has been something that's been tremendously encouraging for me this year. And a part of growth is asking questions. So being able to come on to lives and to show up, claim your presence, ask the question that you're thinking but are afraid to ask. The reason is that asking that question, going out on that limb, is what differentiates you between you and the 90% of people who would hold back, would prefer not to ask, would prefer to wait and see what would happen. And I have learned that by watching other people who are ahead of me, who are killing it in their business. They show up places and claim space. So that's been a new part of what I'm doing, claiming space and taking attention when you deserve it. So when you ask a question and you're looking to get guidance on that, your brain immediately opens for learning and for growth. And when you get your own question answered back, it cements in your mind completely differently than when somebody else asks the question. So let me read out some of the comments. What is the plan for this week? What are your goals? Drop me below. What are your goals for November? I'd love to know what your revenue goals are. We have a huge thing in my group going on right now with a post where I'm asking for accountability in November, because what we need as entrepreneurs is an understanding of where were we and where would we like to be, and also that kind of camaraderie and that group sense of community that we're all striving for something better than we had before. So I'm excited about challenging my group with sharing that, and then along the way sharing their wins so that we can see where we're at the end. So Todd's saying, I'm a weird introvert kind of energy where I kind of dread calls and I don't usually pick up. Ooh. You mean you don't pick up, I kind of dread calls and I don't usually pick up. You mean people are calling you for sales and you're not picking up the call? You've got to give me some more context for that. But if you're on sales calls and you're saying that being an introvert is a reason for not being on a sales call, you've got to decide, do you care about being an introvert and preserving your energy more than you care about bringing revenue in the door? And that is not an insult at all on introverts. It's a real question, because if truly your answer is I care more about preserving my energy, then the next step is to find out who can do sales for you. And do you have some capital you can invest in building out your sales team? Because let me tell you this, if you get your sales team up and going and they're the people who feed you clients and that's what lights you up, you're good to go. But in order to have a sales team have somebody they can respond to, they need to have some type of leads, and they're going to look for you for either paid traffic. So I don't know if you're doing paid traffic or if you're doing organic, but make sure that you're, kind of showing up though. Let me see what he's saying here. So I have, I'm going to finish Todd's thought here, but keep dropping the questions because there's always a lag in the Zoom. I have to call back when my energy and mind is ready, just everyday calls. Okay. Well, that's completely different. So you might also be in that rhythm where text and cell phones and being able to see who calls makes you stop and think you have a choice to call people back. The other thing that you could do is you could actually batch all those calls together. But I think the question is sales calls are completely different because you don't get to decide when you're calling those people back. You've got to have those show up. So tell me, is your question the fact that since you don't really like being on the phone, are you worried you're not going to like sales calls? Have you been on them? So some of those questions. So let me get over here to Tracy. Where do you get your creative inspiration when you start a new project? My creative inspiration, this is one of my favorite parts, is concepting when a project is just starting. I have this method I walk clients through that's called the Brand 360 exploration. And in that exercise, I'm doing a super deep dive into exactly who that business is, who are they as a person, and extracting immense details and data from who they are. And that allows me to start fabricating in my mind concepts that would work for them. So when I look at concepts, I'm looking at things like, what are their values? Who are their competitors? Who are their avatars? And what would this person like? And then also, what's the business growth? What's the plan for business growth? So are they going to have other offshoots of this business start? I want to plan for that now. And then I have this special exercise I do once they're going through my presentations and all of that. When they're going through the presentations, I have a concept exercise where I've nailed down based on their worksheet and having gotten to know them over a period of time. And I pull together some concepts and I let them comment on what hits home for them. So them having that initial vision really helps to steer the ship. I can tell you probably 95% of the time I have nailed it in the right department because of that exercise I do with them. So my inspiration really does for this come from my clients. I want to know their story, their journey, what makes them them. So I know authentic is gets bashed, but when it comes to branding, and this next generation coming up, if you don't know who your brand is, people will make up a reason of who you are. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I want to know if that is hitting home with you guys. I don't want to just talk branding shop here. There's a wide variety of interests, but it's what excites me. And so when I nail that concepts for my clients, when I show up with my first inspirations, they're really excited. And then they feel like a part of them got reflected into the brand, which they don't know how I did. But I guess that's the magic. That's the magic of graphic design and understanding actual brand strategy versus designing a logo. Designing a logo is putting together something that looks reasonably good and slapping it on. It has no meaning. It has no purpose. It has no story and no connection back to the owner. So you can literally feel when a business person is excited about their brand and how they're showing up, excited about what they represent, versus when they've like bought something from Fiverr. Buy something from Fiverr and have slapped it on. It's almost like logo shame. It's like brand shame. You're doing the brand walk of shame. So, yeah, let me know if that's hitting home. Let me know what your other questions are, guys. I'm gonna bust through this. So Tracy, let me know if that like, I know you're a fellow branding person, so let me know if that made sense of what I said there. When should someone new to business worry about branding? Jenny, you want to, like I just posted this the other day, branding is the be in the concept of be, do, have. So be the person that you should be so that you can do the things that you need to do and eventually have the things you need to have. And the only difference is that the be is for your actual business. And so who should your business be? So your business starts to do what your business needs to do so your business can have the kind of outcomes you want to have. And so mostly what I tell people just to help benchmark it is go ahead and get your offer validated, because you don't want to be swimming around in a survival state where you don't even know what your offer is, you don't know what your avatar is, and you have no idea if it's going to stick. Notice, I did not say perfection. You don't need to have your offer perfected. You don't need to have your avatar perfected. There is no level of perfection that needs to happen. You just need to be at a place mentally where you want to up level to that next place, and you know that your identity and your business deserves it. And you want to show up into the marketplace where you can claim credibility, where you can claim authority, which directly, ask any of my clients, any single one of my clients, ask them how directly branding correlates to the revenue they bring in the door. That's why I have a business, because it translates really heavily into your consumer and people you're trying to attract actually saying yes, actually wanting to work with you. Let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense, guys. All right. Okay, so Todd's saying, I have a call back when my energy and my mind, I have to call back on, oh, okay, I said that part. Oh, so kind of dreading the strategy call thing. Todd, I think that one of the things that you're not thinking about is maybe reframing that. Like, you're dreading the concept of the call, but are you dreading the concept of actually closing a client? Are you dreading the concept of actually like getting onto Stripe and being able to book somebody and charge somebody with their credit card right then? Are you dreading that? I think you got to reframe what the point of the strategy call is. Hey, Julie. Hey, nice to have you all the way from Australia. What's up, Conan? Let me know if you guys have questions. Todd, I'm very early in the process, and I feel like would have helped if I had mastered sales or whatever you said that leveled up your sales and that kind of thing. You could. It would be great, but that's not your situation. And so don't hold yourself back from learning something because you haven't learned it yet. I think that's the biggest thing I would say is that you're a little bit worried about things that aren't even problems yet. You know, like you haven't had a strategy session yet to be worried about it. You haven't not closed 20 people to be worried about that yet. Who knows? You might be good at sales. You might learn it quickly. And for the record, I did not even know what SS meant in May. I had no idea what SS even meant. So, Conan, thank you. Best sis. Ryan Hill. Hey, Bijal, focusing on lead indicators this week. 50 messages starts is the biggest metric. Love that. That's a great goal, Ryan. That's freaking awesome. That message, starting messages, guys, starting conversations with people, and just being who you are is so awesome. So valuable. Love digging into deep into who my clients are and what they represent. And Tracy, I think some of the things that, to expand on your question, digging into what your clients want and then allowing yourself to have fun with it. So if you're doing this thing, which some people do, where they are giving the client what they want versus what they're feeling is coming from inside, I would challenge you for that. Make sure you're having fun with it, because when you have fun with it, it translates right on to what you're doing. It just like explodes off of the page with what that is. So yeah, that's kind of what I had for today. I just wanted to come on here and start jamming and talking about things that are going to get us to the next level. That's going to continue to grow our harvest. And I'm so excited for September. A lot of great things coming. I've just up-leveled myself, about to up-level my environment. And I'm just really excited for what this growth is going to be like, and keep learning new things, keep connecting with new people. And even for me, like sales, like, Todd's talking about and Jenny's talking about, like, I love sales and I didn't know how to do it at all when I started back in May. I felt really shy about it, and I was an extrovert. I just didn't like asking people for a sale. I didn't like asking people to discuss something I had to sell. So I had to change all of that mindset around. You know what I mean? Like I just had to work. I had to work through it. And it was like some days I made more progress and other days things slowed down. But sales is so much more about your energy than you could think. And if you learn some of the tips and tricks that work for you and you're really honed in on what you offer to the world, it makes it a lot easier. So you don't have to have the same sales style. You don't have to do any of that. You can be authentically yourself, and that way you're actually attracting clients who deserve to be within your atmosphere. So it's always a two-way street when you're working with that. So, all right, guys, let me know if you have any more questions. I'm just like hanging out here. I think my laptop's about to die. No, it's on 18%. It's about to die. Close to it. But I'm just going to be getting more targeted with these weekly weekly lives, and looking at different topics and wanting to break those down. So if you have any ideas of what you'd like to hear about, what you'd like to talk about, let me know. And I will start making content towards that. But either way, I'm going to be showing up in November, and I'm excited to claim space. So I encourage you, if there's one piece of action that you can take away from this call or even just being in this environment, let me know. Drop it to me in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. But I would love to hear, what are you going to claim? What space are you going to claim? Because I think a lot of us have been trained to sort of step back instead of lean in. And I'm not even going to quote that book, but hey, Chuck, what's going on? Nice to see you here, man. Up level is the key. Exactly. Yep. So that's all what we're about here. So let me know in the comments what it is that you're going to do, what is going to sustain you for this next month through the end of the year. Make sure you're finding time to find places where you can refill and replenish your energy, because it is a difficult time where we don't get to all see each other. But there's so much to look forward to. So I can't wait to see you guys winning in November and letting me know what those wins are. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.